Europe's role in the war in Ukraine may be entering a new phase as recent remarks from senior French, Polish and British officials and an increasingly sharp warning from Moscow have reignited debate about whether NATO countries are preparing to place boots on the ground. France's Army Chief of Staff, General Pierre Schill, told lawmakers on October 23rd that the French army will be ready to deploy forces in 2026, potentially for the benefit of Ukraine. As reported by BFM TV, Schill made the comments during a hearing before the French National Assembly's Defense Committee.
We will be ready to deploy forces as part of security guarantees, if necessary for the benefit of Ukraine.
Schill emphasized that the French military is prepared to manage multiple alerts simultaneously, including a possible deployment abroad, a national emergency response, and NATO's first-level alert known as ARF 2026. For months, French officials have warned of a growing Russian threat, and Schill's comments came a day after France's top military officer said that the country must be ready for a clash in 3 or 4 years with Russia. Russia has seized on Schill's comments as evidence that Paris is preparing for intervention. According to Sputnik International, Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service claimed that French assault troops stationed in Poland are training for redeployment to central Ukraine.
According to information received by the SVR, French President Emmanuel Macron is dreaming of a military intervention in Ukraine. Having failed as a politician and despairing of leading the country out of its protracted socio-economic crisis, he has not given up hope of going down in history as a military leader. The backbone of the formation will be French Foreign Legion assault troops, primarily from Latin American countries. The legionnaires are currently deployed in areas of Poland bordering Ukraine, undergoing intensive combat training and receiving weapons and military equipment. Their deployment to central Ukraine is planned for the near future.
The SVR alleged that up to 2,000 soldiers and officers are being readied for the mission on the orders of President Emmanuel Macron, and that medical facilities in France are already expanding to accommodate potential casualties. In the event of a leak of information about the planned intervention, Paris intends to state that it is merely a small group of instructors arriving in Ukraine to train mobilized soldiers of Ukrainian armed forces, the SVR added. During a March 8th conference marking Poland's 25th anniversary in NATO, Poland's Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski further fueled speculation. Speaking to diplomats, Sikorski said, "NATO soldiers are already present in Ukraine." He further thanked the ambassadors of those countries who have taken that risk. However, Sikorski did not name the countries involved, but his remarks added an edge to Macron's earlier statement that Western nations should rule nothing out when it comes to supporting Kyiv. Following those remarks, NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg reiterated that the alliance has no plans to deploy troops in Ukraine. However, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov warned that such a move would make direct conflict between Russia and NATO inevitable. Besides, responding to the reports of a potential French deployment, the Kremlin said the situation is alarming.
Regarding the information from the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service about French troops in Ukraine, it is alarming, although, on the other hand, our military constantly listens to foreign speech and foreign languages on radios along the line of contact, meaning these foreigners are there and we are eliminating them. Our military will continue to do their job. We are currently unable to assess the prospects for resuming the negotiation process because, as we have stated repeatedly, the current pause is due to the Kyiv regime's reluctance to continue the negotiation process and its unwillingness to respond to the questions we asked, the draft documents we presented, and the proposals for further working formats within various groups. All of this has remained unanswered.
Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, Defence Secretary John Healey has said London is ready to spend well over PS 100 million to put British boots on the ground in Ukraine, but only if a peace deal is reached. According to Forces News, Healy explained that the cost would cover an initial deployment of troops and aircraft, separate from the PS-45 billion in military aid already allocated to Kyiv. He said the plans have been developed over the past 6 months alongside Britain's coalition of the willing partners. Healy added,
Keir Starmer has said, if necessary, he's willing to see UK boots on the ground, and I've already accelerated millions of pounds in preparation for any possible deployment in the event of peace.
His remarks came just days after Prime Minister Keir Starmer joined several Western leaders, including President Volodymyr Zelensky, President Emmanuel Macron, and President Donald Trump, in a joint statement affirming their commitment to a just and lasting peace. We are all united in our desire for a just and lasting peace, deserved by the people of Ukraine. We strongly support President Trump's position that the fighting should stop immediately, and that the current line of contact should be the starting point of negotiations. We remain committed to the principle that international borders must not be changed by force. Russia's stalling tactics have shown time and time again that Ukraine is the only party serious about peace. We can all see that Putin continues to choose violence and destruction. Therefore, we are clear that Ukraine must be in the strongest possible position before, during, and after any ceasefire. We must ramp up the pressure on Russia's economy and its defense industry until Putin is ready to make peace. We are developing measures to use the full value of Russia's immobilized sovereign assets so that Ukraine has the resources it needs. The October 21st statement emphasized that Western nations will ramp up pressure on Russia's economy and defense industry until Moscow is ready to make peace. From Paris to Warsaw and London, Western rhetoric around Ukraine is shifting. France is planning for 2026, Poland acknowledges NATO personnel are already in country, and Britain is preparing for a potential peacekeeping mission, all while Moscow issues fresh warnings. For now, the tone on both sides is hardening, and the line between military assistance and direct involvement is becoming increasingly blurred. Whether these preparations are precautionary or prelude remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. The debate over Western troops in Ukraine is no longer theoretical.